I remember the day very well. It was a regular Friday night for a high schooler. All my friends and I went to our school's football games to support our friends and hope to cheer them on to a win. One of my friends was in for a very big surprise that Friday, however. My friend, Josh Farley, was a captain on the team. He went out to midfield for the coin toss. Right before the game started, for some reason, our school mascot ran out to him at midfield. Next thing we knew, the mascot took off the head of his costume. It was Josh's dad, who he hadn't seen in over a year. His is in the military and had been in Afghanistan fighting for our country. Everyone in the crowd cheered, and Josh and his family all cried together. It was an extremely warm welcome home for Josh's dad. Nowadays, a soldier returning home is a very special moment for them and their family. These soldiers are thanked by people they don't even know and are treated with great respect. Soldiers returning home haven't always been this way, however. W.E.B. Du Bois talks about this different type of return in his writing titled Returning Soldiers. It was written in May of 1919, which falls 6 months after the end of World War I. In the early 1900s, racism was extremely prevalent in America. African Americans were dealing with unfair laws and murders of innocent people. On top of all of this, many of them were forced to go to war for this country when they were drafted. This country that had done so many bad things to them already was now expecting them to put their life on the line for its protection. Du Bois discusses this in the beginning of the text. Even though they were forced into it, they fought gladly and to the last drop of blood. For the America that represents and gloats in lynching, disfranchisement, caste, brutality, and devilish insult. These black men fought with all they had in them, even if it was for a country that didn't share the same ideals as them. They may have expected all those in America to respect that about them and welcome those who had put their lives at risk with open arms. Yet, they did not. Du Bois explains the homecoming as the return from the slavery of uniform. At first, Du Bois shows that America may not have deserved the African American soldiers that fought so hard for them. His writing style throughout the essay is very unique. He refers to the country as it and explains the terrible things that go on in it. By referring to the country as it shows his detachment from America. The first example of this writing is when he states, "It lynches." Even though lynching is such a disgusting act, for 50 years we have lynched 2 Negroes a week. Later on, he says, "It encourages ignorance. It has never really tried to educate the Negro. It steals from us. It confiscates our savings. It reduces our wages. It raises our rent." This is when the rhetoric of Du Bois' writing is really strong. By saying us, he is attempting to side with all African Americans and get every one of them on the opposition of the whites. These white men are taking what is theirs, and they cannot do anything about it. After all of this, however, Du Bois says that this is the fatherland for which we fought, but it is our fatherland. It was right for us to fight. This time in the text, Du Bois says our. For most of the text, he was using us, but now he is acknowledging that whether you are black, white, or any race, they were in the fight together. It was the right thing to put their lives on the line for their country because they are a part of it. Whether or not they are considered a good part by many, they are a part of it. Du Bois talks about a completely other war going on at the end of the essay, the war in their own country. And after all they have done for it by fighting in World War I, they would be cowards and jackasses to not pour every ounce of our brain and brawn to fight a sterner, longer, more unbending battle against the forces of hell in our own land. World War I had just ended, but the real war was just beginning. The fight for equal rights and justice, the fight for fair taxes and no disfranchisement. Du Bois ends the text saying, we return from fighting, we return fighting." Now more than ever, African Americans needed to do what was right for their country and fight, to the last drop of blood, for America and her highest ideals. Without those who fought so bravely for their rights, America may still be just as corrupt as it was in the early 1900s.